always been Lorelei Pulliam's favorite day of the year, but in 1990, it had become an unwelcome milestone in her life.
My parents were selling the farm, getting rid of all the animals, and moving to condominium. I was heartbroken. It was a time of saying goodbye to everything that I'd known for most of my life.
She felt that the happiness she had always associated with the holiday was gone forever.
The reason that Easter was a very special time for me, I think, came through my mother. She loved Easter, and she put her hand on my shoulder and she said, I promise you, one day, Easter will be the same for you again. And that was going to be our last Easter together as a family, because shortly after that, my mother died of a heart attack in her sleep. So that was really the last promise she ever made to me.
Lorelei remembered her mother's promise and waited. 12 years passed. Lorelei tried to recapture her happy memories of the family farm by opening an equine center in Afton, Virginia, called Galistar. Galistar is a therapeutic riding center that works with children to help them develop interpersonal skills and realize their potential.
They can take the lessons that we teach here through the horses and carry them into their lives, for the rest of their lives.
Through Galistar, Lorelei and her husband Ron found a way to not only share their life, but their life's work.
We came together and, in essence, formed our partnership between the therapy role that I play as a therapist and her role as the therapeutic horseback riding instructor.
But every Easter, Lorelei still couldn't help remembering her loss.
I had tried to do some of the little things that her mother used to do here to help us celebrate Easter, but I knew that it really was something missing.
Then on Easter Day in 2002, as Lorelei turned to her horses for comfort, she encountered something special.
Trotting along was this tiny little black thing, and I thought, is that a little dog? And as it got closer, I realized it was a pig.
My realization of how truly important Easter was to her is when she came and told me about the little pig. She had always wanted a pig as a little girl.
I was really worried about his health. He was covered in ticks, and he was not getting enough to eat. There was lots of big dogs in that area. Big, big dogs.
She was so fearful that something was going to happen to him.
Whenever I would approach the pig, he would run just far enough to stay out of reach. He was very quick and very fast, and he knew just how to hide. But I knew that I would bring this pig home.
Day after day, Lorelei struggled to save the 4-month-old pig she had named Ranger.
I knew that I needed to get the little pig to a safe place. I was getting so upset about it, I thought, you know, there may just be nothing I can do. And then I remembered a wildlife documentary in Africa and how the wild pigs stayed with herds of zebra or gazelle or animals that could see up above the tall grass for safety.
She had the idea that we would lead the horses through the woods and that more than likely this little pig would follow. I didn't know if it would work or not.
Watch where you're going.
The next morning, Lorelei asked some of the children to help.
So we put halters on all the horses, and we started leading the horses down the trail. And sure enough, the little pig ran right along behind and beside the horses. He followed everywhere we went, and it was about a mile's ride. And here were these 5 horses plodding along, and here was this little pig running right behind them.
We came through the woods, and it was rather remarkable to watch this little guy just trot along, because he was not going to leave these horses that he had joined up with.
And I put food and made a little trap for him to follow into the gate. He was very upset about being locked in. And it took him a good hour to calm down. I pulled up a chair and I sat down to try to talk to him. And one of the horses came and stood to comfort him, and the dogs all came and sat. And they seemed to know that the pig needed comforting.
I have to admit that I was not a pig lover. I knew that it was going to be left to Lorelei to tame this little rascal.
I wanted to get him tame as soon as possible, but he didn't want too much to do with me. But I soon learned that the way to a pig's heart is through their stomach. And as soon as he started seeing me as the source of these delicious treats, he began to look forward to my visits.
Ranger, come here, boy.
Within a week, he was eating out of my hand.
Come here, Ranger. Good.
And within a second week, I was scratching him.
Good boy.
I watched as she and him became, in a sense, inseparable. And it was at that point that I had no choice. I fell in love with the little pig, too.
And 3 weeks after he arrived, he lay down for his first belly rub. Oh, I was quite flattered. That is the sign for a pig that they trust you.
But Lorelei saw a sadness in Ranger, a sadness she well understood. Ranger needed a family.
I was concerned about where Ranger had come from, so I started asking around.
A grocery store clerk directed her to a farm where she found Ranger's family in a state of terrible neglect. It was obvious why Ranger had run away.
I told the woman that I had Ranger and that he had come from their home and that I needed a friend for him, and they said they might be able to arrange that.
A few dollars later, Ranger's entire family was released into Lorelei's care.
And I was so happy, I almost started crying.
There you go. There you go.
Ranger and his family were together again. And I bet he never in his wildest dreams thought that he was going to get his family back. But his family's reunited, and in a way, I feel reunited with my family and all that I had lost.
For Lorelei, having Ranger come into her life was the fulfillment of her mother's last promise, that someday Easter would be special again. And so it is.
To know that she is happy and that she has made this connection to her mother through Ranger, it brings me great happiness.
It seems so strange that getting a pig on Easter would have brought back the joy that it used to give me, but it has. Because now it's Easter and it still has the meaning that it always had, but it's also Ranger's anniversary. And it's one of my favorite days of the year once again.